Hiya folks, RT Bunker here, and this lesson is factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Now this is when the number in front of the x squared term is not 1. Okay, so it would be extremely helpful if you went back and watched the video that I put up on factoring by grouping. Factoring by grouping would really make this lesson a lot more meaningful if you did. Okay, otherwise this one's going to be a little bit hard to understand. Okay, so this is factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Again, factoring by grouping would be a must before you see this. And this method eliminates any kind of guessing and checking. Okay, and I'm going to show you this by example. So the first step, you guys, is we're gonna factor this 15x squared plus 16x plus 4. All right, so what I'm going to do is multiply this a and this c together. Okay, so I multiply 15 times 4. 15 times 4 equals 60. Okay, and then the second thing I do is I ask what numbers, what factors of this number right here, 60, add to this term right here. Okay, and hopefully you guys know that 10 times 6 also equals 60, and 10 plus 6 equals 16. Okay, so that's the second thing I do. First thing I do is multiply those two guys, and then I say, okay, what factors of that add to this number right here? So then I rewrite this guy, and replace this 16x right here with these two numbers, 10x and 6x. Okay, so here it is, 15x squared plus 10x plus 6x plus 4. Okay, and then we do factoring by grouping. Okay, and factoring by grouping, you got to see that last lesson right there. I'm going to group these first two terms together. When I group those first two terms together, what can I pull out of these guys, these first two guys? I can pull a 5x out. And when I pull a 5x out of this and this, I'm left with 3x plus 2. Okay, out of these two guys, I can pull a 2 out. And when I pull a 2 out, I'm left with 3x plus 2. Okay, now imagine if I said this, you guys, distribute this 5x through the parentheses right there. It would take you right back up on top. Similarly, if I said distribute this 3 through, it would take me right back up here on the top right there. So we GCF the first two, we GCF the second two, and look, they both have a common red 3x plus 2, so I'm going to pull out that red 3x plus 2, and I'm left with blue stuff that's with it, 5x plus 2. So there it is, factored right there. This method is slick, you guys, and I call it smiley face factoring because I usually draw like a, between the, let me go back here, I usually draw a little smiley face when I'm teaching this on the board right there. There's my smile right there. I multiply those two numbers right there. I've heard another teacher call it borrowing from the clouds. I don't know. But it really helps. So let's factor these guys here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply 3 times negative 5. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And then factors of negative 15 that add to positive 14 are positive 15 times a negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite that, replace this with 15 and negative 1, 15p and negative 1p. Then I'm going to factor by grouping. I can pull 3p out of these guys. I always pull this sign out, so when I pull this negative out, it's going to change that guy to a positive right there. Alright, so I'm going to factor by grouping. So here I'm going to pull a 3p out. Here I'm going to pull a negative 1 out. So when I pulled that negative out, and it changes that to a positive. Now imagine if I redistributed this negative back through, it would get me a negative 1p and a negative 5. So I pull a negative out right there, okay? All right, so there we go. And then I'm left with the blue p plus 5. So if I pull out that blue p plus 5, I'm left with the red stuff that's attached with it, 3p minus 1. Okay? No more guessing and checking. All right, okay, on this guy, you guys, when it starts off negative, I need it to be positive. So I'm going to pull a negative out of that, out of that, out of that. Now, it doesn't disappear. I'm just factoring it out. So there it is right there. I just factored it out and made that positive, made that negative, made that negative. Now I'm going to multiply 4 times negative 7, which is negative 28. Factors of negative 28 that add to that are going to be negative 14 and 2. Okay, can you see negative 14 times 2 equals negative 28? And those pair add to that. So I'm going to rewrite this guy inside of here. Don't lose that negative. Always keep that negative there. I'm going to rewrite it, replacing the negative 12 with the negative 14 plus 2. Okay, then I'm going to factor by grouping. Now, out of these two guys, I can pull a 2x out. Out of these two guys, the only thing I can pull out of those is a 1. So I'll pull a 1 out. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to pull a 2x out of these two guys right there. All right. And when I pull a 1 out of these two guys, I'm left at 2x minus 7, so they both have the blue 2x minus 7s. Notice I never lost that original negative, so that negative just kind of hangs with us till the very end. Okay, so the blue 2x minus 7s I'm going to pull out. I'm left with the red stuff, 2x plus 1. Don't forget about your negative, so boom, there's your answer right there. Okay, all right, let's try some of these. We're solving these guys, so let's solve this guy. So here I'm gonna divide both sides by -1. 0 divided by anything is 0. Okay, so I'm dividing both sides by -1 because I want this to be positive. I always want my squared term, it's called my quadratic term, needs to be positive. Okay, so I just changed the signs, and then I'm going to do smiley face factoring. 2 times 3 is 6. Factors of 6 that add to 5 are 2 and 3. So this one, it looks like I guessed and checked on this one right here. This one's easy to guess and check because factors of 3 are just 3 and 1. So I either put the 1 here and the 3 here, or the 3 here and the 1 here. And you just kind of got to check and see if it doesn't give me this 5 right here. So 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3, so 2y plus 3y gets me the 5y. So there it is, factored right there. I would have done probably smiley face factoring on that also. All right, so now we got to solve. So now I got it factored, so I'm going to set this 2y plus 3 equal to 0 and this y plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, there we go, and I'm going to subtract 3 and subtract 1, and I get y equals -3/2, or y equals -1. Here I divided both sides by 2. That's where I got the -3/2. Okay, here I just subtracted 1 on both sides. All right, let's try one more. Okay, all right, this one I'm definitely going to do smiley face factoring. 6 times -4 is -24. Factors of -24 that add to -5 are -8 times 3. So I'm going to rewrite this: 6y squared minus 8y plus 3y minus 4. Okay. All right, so there we go. And then I factored by grouping. I can pull a 2y out, and I'm left with 3y minus 4. Here I can only pull a 1 out. Okay, the only thing that goes into both those guys is this 1 right here, 3y minus 4. So now they both have the red 3y minus 4s. I'm left with the blue stuff. And then I set this factor equal to 0, set this factor equal to 0, and I get 4/3 or -1/2. Okay, all right. Now, if you're in my class, I would assign that for your homework. Okay, take care, you guys.